Right, so under the Sabin amendments, if we get an exchange becomes a defender retreat if all defenders are cavalry, which was the case. So, with the Dutch-Belgian cavalry that were there. So therefore, it's defender retreat, as we've established. They are surrounded by enemy zones of control, so therefore they were lost, eliminated. So the French get their first elimination of an enemy strength point. The defenders followed up and advanced after combat and have moved into that hex there, ready to attack Hougoumont on the next turn, most likely. Very well, very well. So, let's see. So we're going to have the... there we go. We're going to have the attack on... Let's have the attack on Hougoumont next. Okay. And we've got a 1. It's 2-1 with a 1, which plus 1 is 2. So that's defender retreat, which is ignored by... shielded defenders in buildings may ignore defender retreat. So once again, they bang their head against the... Chateau of Hougoumont and get nowhere. Very well, very well. Let's go to the main event. Let's go to La Sainte, or just slightly south of it, where the Imperial Guard has shown up in all 3 of its divisions. The Chasseurs, the Grenadiers, the Young Guard. They've all shown up beating on La Sainte, and they've got 3-1. 3-1 with a +1 because the... enemy is shielded. So this is probably what the most crucial die roll of the entire Quelle affaire. So let's have a look. What's it going to be? It's a 4. Right. Ooh, wait a minute. 3-1 with a 4. 4 becomes a 5. They needed a 5 or a 6. They needed a 5 or a 6 to get an exchange result. So it's make sure this is rather important. Yeah, 4 becomes 5, which is defender retreat, which can be ignored by shielded defenders in a building. Right, so they missed it by 1. Okay, fair enough. So at least they don't have to pull back. In fact, I did take a look, and I don't think it's not actually possible for them to get a result it's not possible to get a result where the attacker has to retreat, but it is possible for them to get an adverse result if they rolled a 5 + 1. It becomes an exchange, which means they eliminate the enemy, but they would lose their own equivalent strength. Okay, but anyway, right, so let's go ahead and remove the 1s, the 3-1, so we know we've done that. Okay, so now we've got the other ones. Let's try and maybe we'll have some sort of miracle breakthrough here. I don't know. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so we got 1-1 down there. And there is a special consideration down there because we have a -1. Oh, that's nice. We have a -1 on the die because we've got French cavalry involved. And I should say attacking French cavalry, yes. So that becomes a 2. So that looks promising. It's 1-1 with a 2. They're not shielded and they're in a building. 1-1 with a 2. So we've got defender retreat. Oh, well, at least we pushed them back. Let's sort that out. All right, so that's the general configuration. We ended up with the retreated enemy, and then the French going forward. The French commander realizes that basically the left flank is just sort of a wide open situation down there. So of course, in the Allied turn, the Allies may, if they decide. Probably would be a good time for them to abandon the shielded status of those 2 units, and they could indeed get stuck into the cavalry there. If they did, remember they have to pay 1 point extra to enter its zone of control, so they might perhaps go, 1, 2, 3, 4. They could move to there. Those 2 units alone, this unit has to attack that unit, can't get away. So those 2 units alone would bring another 10 strength points. So you would have Yeah, you'd have a total of 12 against 2. You'd have 6 to 1. Is that allowed? No. 3 to 1 or less if some of the defenders are cavalry and there's no attacking cavalry. And that's what you'd have. So you'd actually have a 3 to 1. So there's no point in them trying to get more than 3 to 1. So I suppose they could just throw in that unit against them or that unit, and then maybe take that unit to go for a walk down here to start threatening interfering with Hougoumont. Something like that. Anyway, it's a bit late. The French have only got one more turn, so oh well. Then down here we've got these 1 to 2s. Yes, it's all rather grim for the Emperor. So let's see what we can get. If we have a 1 to 2, there is a possibility. Let's see, in the first case we've got a +1 on the die. So there is a possibility that the attacking French who had to attack, they were obliged to, will be eliminated. Let's see what happens. Right, so we add 1 to that. We've got 1 to 2 with a 3, which becomes attack a retreat. Okay, well, they can certainly retreat. It's just a question of, do they displace this unit or do they retreat down to here? The defenders will be able to follow up, but I'm sure that they won't, because they want to retain their shielded status. The artillery can't. Okay, so we are going to then push those chaps down to there, I think. So there's their retreat. Okay, and then we have the next one. Now there is no shielding, so there's no +1 on the die. It's just a straight 1 to 2, and we'll see what we get. 1 to 2 with a 4 is attack a retreat. Okay, so these chaps, they can't move to there, obviously. So they can move in this direction, displacing them, or they can move in this direction, displacing them. I'm going to have a look at that. Right, so the division retreated to this, from there, sorry, to this hex here, and then it displaced the cuirassier division there. And they were followed up by the General Reserve. They advanced after combat, which now puts them in a position to contribute to this situation here with the Grenadiers of the Imperial Guard, who are now surrounded. So if they had a retreat result, they would be destroyed. They have got, if we ignore the artillery, because it won't make any difference to the odds, they have got 2 to 1, being attacked with 2 to 1. Okay, excuse me. And then that means that the General Reserve has to have some comrades attack the artillery and these chaps here to satisfy zone of control requirements. So therefore the Prussian artillery can come forward and attack the artillery there, and some of these units could come forward and attack those chaps, so I'm sure that can be done. So that could be pivotal, that they could possibly eliminate the Grenadiers of the Imperial Guard, which would be a loss of 7, and then additionally a loss of 6, as described before, where the loss of either under the amendments, either the Grenadiers or the Chasseurs, either one of those gets lost, the French loses another 6 points, but only once in the battle. So even if both of them are lost, it's only 6 points. Right. So that is the entire French turn then for turn 5, 7 p.m. And as we can see, they've caused the loss. They finally caused the loss of 1 unit, which is 1 strength point, the plucky Dutch-Belgian cavalry who fought to the last man and then were routed, presumably. Unspeakable destruction. Yes, clearly the French have not won the battle. What am I trying to say? They've lost spectacularly badly. So interesting. But it's still, I'm still going to play out the rest of the battle. Because now, next up, we've got the Allied turn, of course, and we've got 3 more Prussian units coming on. So, onwards and upwards, or as old Blucher would say, forwards, or except he'd say it in German. So was it Vorwärts or something, weiter, weiter, how about that? Okay. And here we find ourselves at the end of the Allied fourth turn, which is to say 7 p.m. And evidently some French reinforcements have shown up for local atmosphere and colour. Ha ha ha. Anyway, right, so what have the Allies done? Well, as we can see, we had the second batch of Prussian reinforcements. 3 divisions came on from the east, and we've got the artillery bringing up the rear, being the slowest moving unit. We've got a large powerful Prussian division here, and some other, these cavalry got to this position here. Prussians pushing forward, getting stuck into combat. There was no point in this unit attacking by itself, because these units, remember, are in buildings. So he's with 7, he's with 5, and the only place he can attack from is there. He'd be attacking both of them, so that's a bit of a non-starter. So he's basically in position, waiting for more friends to be able to join in the attack. Then key, as was discussed in the previous segment, key thing that's going to be going on is the attack on the grenadiers of the Imperial Guard there. And I believe there is, off the top of my head, I think there is a 1 in 6 chance that they will survive that. All other results, because they are surrounded, will result in their destruction. So that's a bit of a blow for the French. Also, there's several other meaty attacks that have been put together. There's a 3-1 here. There's a 5-1 there, as we can see. And a lot of the subtleties, the rules coming out now, because over on the Allied right, we have 2 Anglo-Allied divisions have decided to abandon their shielded status, their positions, as it were. And so we've got, what are they, Dutch-Belgians? Yeah, we've got the, Dutch-Belgians there. And then we have British, those are the Brunswickers, right. But we also had the, this division here. They abandoned their shielded status and got stuck in. So because they're attacking cavalry, let's see. Well, we got a 3-1 there. That's normal anyway. No special consideration. That's right. The consideration we have to remember now is that these are Allied forces which have abandoned their shielded status. So they are going to have, Anglo-Allied infantry, none of which are shielded. That's right. So they're going to be having a +1 on the die roll, which they're going to have to suffer. Okay. Then let's see. Here we've got these 2 units attacking the, I believe that's the Imperial Guard cavalry there. Got that's a 1-1. Okay. These chaps, not surprisingly, are not attacking anyone. So moving on down the line, they're not doing anything. Here we've got these 2 are attacking here, so that's a 1-1. They're not. I don't think they need to attack anyone. Oh, wait a minute. Can they get involved in that? Let's see. Wait a minute. That would mean they would have to. Am I missing something here? I hadn't really thought. That's right. They don't have to attack. That's right, because they're shielded in a building. Right. Right, down here, we've already discussed that. We've got 15 against those, so it's 2-1 on there. Everybody's shielded, okay, so it's a good position to be in. Here we have Anglo-Allied infantry attacking infantry, just a normal sort of thing. Although they are unshielded, they've moved, that's right. Those are, was it Lambert? and so he's moved forward. So we'll have to remember that on that. Then down here, we have got 7 against 2, but that becomes a 2-to-1 because we've got the 2 different forces involved. We've got the Prussians and the Anglo-Allies, and when that happens, there's an attack that has Prussians and Anglo-Allies. We left shift 1, so that's taken us from 3-to-1 to 2-to-1. Over here, we have got, let's see, I'm saying we've got a 5-to-1. No, sorry, it's 2-to-1 there. That's right, that's just, excuse me, that's, oh, I'm getting out of focus. That's because I got my hand in the way. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's 4 against 2, so there's a 2-to-1 there. Here, you got 2 units of cavalry attacking this unit of cavalry, which would be a 6-to-1, but that's taken down 1 by the fact that it's Anglo-Allies and Prussians attacking. Okay, then over here, this is taken down. This would have been 8-to-1, but it's been taken down to 3-to-1 because it's 3-to-1 or less if some of the defenders are cavalry and there's no attacking cavalry. That's what we got there. Right. So those are all the considerations. And right, now I believe we're going to start way over on the left. So, or the French left, that is to say. So we'll have that attack there at 3-to-1. And we have to add 1 to the die because we have unshielded Anglo-Allied infantry attacking. Good for them. They've rolled a 1, so that becomes a 2. So it's 3-to-1 with a 2, which is defender retreat. And as we can see, the defenders are surrounded. So they are therefore destroyed. Let's take care of that. And not surprisingly, these chaps decided to advance, which has now put these in a position where they are surrounded by enemy zones of control. So they're probably not long for this world. Let's roll that up. We need a +1 on there again because of, oh, look at that, we got the same result. So we actually are going to have the same result. Let's do it live. Let's do it on camera. That's done. And they are lost. Okay. So now they weren't being attacked by them. They're being attacked by them. So they can advance if they want to, which I believe they shall. So they're going to advance to that position. Very good. And let's see. Okay. Right, 1 minute. Yeah, from the previous combat, I moved the Brunswickers down there as well. Or rather, His Grace the Duke of Wellington decided to move them forward. Right, so we've had that attack there. Okay, moving on. So we've got a 1-to-1 here. Got cavalry and artillery, which was 6 against the French's 4. So yeah, that's 1-to-1. We don't have to worry about unshielded infantry. That's not a factor here. So let's see what we get. Oh, we get a 2. Well, it's all going Wellington's way once again. So it's it's just 1-to-1 with a 2. And that is defender retreat. And can the defender retreat? Let's see. Can't go here because it is in enemy zone of control. Likewise here. Okay. So this unit here, can he displace that unit there, which is in an enemy zone of control? I'm not sure I've had to deal with that before. That unit's not being attacked, but it's in an enemy zone of control. I don't think that's a problem, so I think he probably can displace that, but let me check that out. Right, yes, it's finally clicked. The point here, of course, is that, the way to think of it is like this. No, they can't displace them because, of course, if they move to that hex, they would be moving into an enemy zone of control. Okay, if they moved into that hex, enemy zone of control from this unit here. So they obviously can't move into that hex. So they are, good Lord, the guard heavy cavalry is destroyed. Oh my gosh. So let's see here. Got that coming off. Got those chaps coming off. right? So then the cavalry has to follow up, okay, has to pursue impetuously, as they say. The artillery can't do anything, can't move, can't advance after combat. So let's see, I'm just lining up the French losses here so we can take a look at this in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the French left is basically disintegrating. They have no cavalry, which is it's not going to end well, as they say. Then let's see. As far as juicy results up here, let's take a look at this this situation here. So we've got this 2-to-1 attack on the Grenadiers of the Imperial Guard. Total of 15 against 7. Okay. None of the attackers are infantry that has lost its shielded status, so there's no +1 there. So it's just a 2-to-1, but the poor Imperial Guard are indeed surrounded. Right, 2-to-1 with a 4 is defend a retreat, and as we've said, that means they're lost because they're surrounded by enemy zones of control. So, la gare recule. Oh my God. So, here we go. All right, off we come. That's a further 7 points, and then they must be pursued by at least one of these chaps are going to have to pursue. I think it's going to be those chaps there. We'll throw them into the mix, I think. Let's see, or I could leave them there and they could move. No, we're going to do that. Okay, we're going to do that. And I will let go. Okay. And then I will pop the chasseurs onto the loss total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. There we are. And of course, having lost them, they lose another 6 points because they lost the Grenadiers or the chasseurs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to total this up so I can make sure I'm on the right track. Because at the moment, behold, there are the Grenadiers. Add another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The French are now up to 38. Okay, so with 2 more losses, that's it. Show's over. Go back to your homes. Nothing to see here, folks. Right, so let's do another juicy attack somewhere and see if we can surround someone. Hang on a minute. All right, let's do it down here. So we're going to have this 5-to-1 here. 2 units of cavalry. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, these 2 units of cavalry attacking here. They're lowered to 5-to-1 because they're Anglo-Allies and Prussians attacking the same unit together. So it's 5-to-1 on the cavalry there. And let's see, let's roll that up. Give it a good shake. 5-to-1. And we got a 6 this time. So 5-to-1 with a 6 is, ouch, is an exchange. Let's see. Exchange becomes defender retreat if all defenders are cavalry. Right. So the French got lucky that time. Yes, they do. They're going to retreat. Right. So the French are going to retreat, and then they must be followed up by the impetuous British cavalry. So they can't retreat to there. They could retreat to here or to here. Okay. That looks like a more sort of, that looks like a better position. So let's do that. They're going to retreat to there. Like that. Then the British must follow up. So they could follow up to the hex that was just vacated, or they could follow up to that hex if they wanted to, which would mean they were actually surrounded by them. But that would also, well, they were already, well, that would mean they were definitely surrounding them. I like the sound of that. So let's do that. So we'll just take those plucky Brits and pop them there. And then, of course, under the amendments, all attacking units, except artillery, can advance. So I'm going to advance the Prussian onwards and upwards. Always forward, as Blucher tells us. Okay. Yeah, so no French loss there. So now we've got, let's see, this unit here is surrounded by enemy zones of control. So I'm going to do that one next. So we've got, let's see, we've got 2 to 1 on that one. That's, yeah, so there are no modifying, there are no modifiers. And so it's the Prussian 4-4 against the French cavalry 2-5. 2 to 1 with a 1. That's defender retreat. They're surrounded by zones of control. So they are destroyed. And that's 2 combat factors, which may mean that Napoleon has lost the battle. All I'm going to do is add up the points and check first.